Oh, Kathy at Northstar Prepsteader. Well, today I'm finally planting my tomatoes. Now, I've got quite a few here, more than I have space for. And you know what? I really hate wasting things. I think I planted these just because the little packs come in 6, and so you just seed everything just in case things don't germinate, which a number of them didn't germinate. I just have a 3 by 6 foot bed, and I'm going to put 8 plants in there. The rest are going to go in containers around the garden. The same is going to be with the peppers, because I have extra peppers too. Some of them I think I'm going to be able to try to get 2 pepper plants in each one. They might be a little crowded, but you know what? I can always trim them around, and I just don't want to waste plants. These plants are so tall. Some of them are 3 feet tall. They've just been waiting so long. Next year I am not starting them March 15th. I'm going to wait until May 1st to start them and then plant them around June 1st. These were the tomatoes that I started just a month ago, and they are already at least 18 inches tall. These are big boy tomatoes, which are going to be like a beefy tomato. But you can see, even though they look leggy and there's a lot of stem and everything, they're really pretty strong. I just need to get them in the ground and get them going. You can see these were my last ones because they're still in their 3-inch pots. So I have not transferred them out yet. But they need to get out because they're starting to stress. And the rest of these are just so tall. I've already had to pinch some suckers out of some of these. So it's later in the afternoon. The sun is not beating right down on me. And it's a little bit of a cooler day. Right now it's about 67, maybe 68 degrees Fahrenheit. First thing before I start planting these though, I have to get the soil ready. In that box I need to bring in some of the barnyard dirt and put a little more compost in there, and get the eggs out. That's what I need to do. Jess's trick with the eggs. I'm gonna try that, so we'll see. And just put a little extra stuff in there because even though I have to dig deep with these, I'm not going to get more than a good 12 inches down for the roots, and I just don't have the space to lay them. So they're going to have to go in, and I'm going to have to probably stake them right away too. I'm a little tired today, but we're good. We're good. I can get this all done and get my garden going. I also have to set up a sprinkler system because I'm going to be gone for a few days. I got to make sure that my little seeds and their seedlings are going to be getting the water that they need, because we have hardly any rain in the forecast for the days that I'm going to be gone. So got to get that rolling. Enough putting this off. I'm kind of dragging my feet today here, so but these tomatoes need to get in. So everything else is looking great in the garden. They're transplanting wonderfully. I don't really see any shock in any of the plants that are in there, and I think they're doing well. Well, I think I am going to go for broke here. I'm going to do the same philosophy with the tomato plants as I do with other things that I broadcast plant. Since I am planning on staking these and having them grow as vertically as possible to put out the fruits and to trim them so they don't bush out a lot, I can put them closer together. Right now, probably have them about 15 inches apart, maybe 18. And I have 12 plants in here. So let's look at this here. I don't know, I might be sorry, but I can always trim things back and just keep them trimmed. But I have so many plants and not enough pots. So these are the other pots that I'm going to put some things in, but they are not as deep as you can see. They're only this high compared to my bed. I'm putting my taller plants in here, and then my shorter tomato plants I'll put in the pots. I'm also going to use some of this, put a little bit of that in the hole, help it fertilize. So in this bed, I'm going to have a mix of delicious tomatoes and porterhouse tomatoes. So I think the delicious ones are a little bit more average, like 6 to 8 ounce tomatoes. The porterhouse are big beefsteak tomatoes, because the only thing that I do with tomatoes really is make sauce and diced and salsa and that type of thing. I don't really like them fresh. Here we go, the first one going down to dig a deep hole. And again, because I'm using the raised beds, I can get real close to the wall here. I don't have to have like 18 inches from the edge, just maybe 18 inches from other tomatoes. Alright, here's the first one. And look at, even in these big pots, this was the third transplant, or the third growing pot it was in. Let go. And you can see the root systems were already well developed here. There you go. Oh, the egg. Let's put an egg in here first. Sprinkle a little of this in here. And fill it in. So I've already been clipping off a lot of the lower branches, but I'm just going to take off this one because it's a little bit brown. I know there's a little stem here, but it goes a good 12 inches down then too. There we go. My first tomato in. One of the reasons I don't want to lay them down and turn them is because I'm going to have to put stakes in, and I don't want to accidentally damage the roots. Having them close together like this makes it a little more difficult to stake them. I know some of you might be cringing at like, oh, you shouldn't put them so close together, but we'll just see how it goes. I've done that before, and yes, it's been like a huge mess, but I never trimmed them back, so we'll see how this works this year. I'll have others that will be in individual containers, so I'll know that those will be good. All right, I have 11 more to do. Well, I have 5 plants in so far. Got 7 to go in this bed. They're planting great, and the root systems look wonderful. The tops look really healthy. Been trimming them down. I'm not going to go into a lot of explanation why we do the eggs and the and the trimming and the sinking them so deep and everything. Check out there are 2 other really great sources. Check out Luke at MI Gardener, his channel, as well as Jess at Roots and Refuge. She knows like everything there is to know about tomatoes, and she's a really good teacher. Anyway, I'm just following their practices with that. Probably putting them a little bit closer together than the others, but got to remember that we're in Minnesota. I'm not in Arkansas where Jess is. She can't plant really close together because of the humidity there and how crowded everything would be, and there's no airflow. We do get humid too, but there's we get really hot here. We get, you know, in the hundreds Fahrenheit sometimes, and we can get very humid too, but generally overall our summers are much drier than they are in the south, so there's a lot more airflow that's going to go on here. I think we're going to do okay. I'm going to focus on the fruit, not all the bushiness of the plants, and you know, just keep enough to keep them going, keep them healthy, keep them just keep them growing and have the energy going into making some really great tomatoes. It feels so good to get these in the ground, because these have been like, I've been hauling them in and out from the house, hardening them off for like 3 weeks now, and then it gets cold, and then there's rainy spells, and then I have to start it again, and to haul all of these tomatoes in these bins in and out all the time. It's a little old. And so I want to make sure that I just get them out of my house so I have my living room back. Let me finish up. Continue to sprinkle this mix of organic blend. It's for tomatoes and vegetables. It's a special fertilizer. Just because way down where the roots of these are, the soil has been fairly depleted. So I'm trying to build it up around where the tomatoes' roots are going to be so that they have every advantage of being able to grow nice and big and strong and healthy and produce a lot of fruit. I'm going to do a little bit of companion planting around the edges, like in the corners of the bed, because the tomatoes are going to grow up and then they will kind of shade, but the corners and the very edges will have some light. So I have some calendula, a little bit of basil left, and some borage that I'm going to put around. The ones I separated out the other day ended up, they're doing really, really well. It didn't put them into too much shock when I had to separate them like that. The roots are just so delicate though, you have to be very careful not to pull too hard. Calendula is an annual, so is basil. It's the first year I've grown calendula, but I want to collect the flowers for it and dry them and have them on hand so that I can make some salves and some different things like that. Now borage puts out all kinds of beautiful bluish purple flowers. This is a plant that is supposed to help keep insects away from the tomatoes. So it's a good companion for the tomatoes. Again, look at these roots. They're just so ready to come out. And I can plant them right up against the edge of the bed and they will be just fine. To plant the tomatoes in these pots, I'm going to do a mix. I don't want just straight potting soil. So I'm actually going to mix some of the barnyard dirt that I got, regular dirt, some of the composted manure in there, then some regular potting soil. Now because there are holes in the bottom and I'm not going to have any type of tray underneath, I really don't want to lose soil through that when it rains and when I water it and everything. So what I'm going to do is I bought this roll of window screen and I'm just going to put a little circle of screen down there. So I'm just kind of trimming it around here so it's a little more circular to fit right in the pot. There we go. For the tomatoes, I'm just going to put a little bit of dirt in the bottom and then I'm going to put the tomato plant. This in there. Oh, I forgot to put my egg in there. Well, we'll see how it grows. And there we have a tomato. That's not going to blow over very easily. So well, it's getting later in the evening. It's after 8 and I still have a number of pots left to do. I'll probably do about 6 more of the tomato container pots and then try to get some peppers done. Then I have to clean up and get everything inside and be back out here tomorrow. So you guys take care, God bless, and always have hope. And it is spring, early summer here, things are growing. It's hard work, yes, but it's so rewarding and so fun. So, bye-bye.